Most of us enjoy the security of having the rope run above us. When we lead climb, we can't enjoy that constant top rope security. It's admittedly spooky doing hard moves above your protection with the rope running down from your harness toward the cold, hard, hungry ground that's constantly pulling you toward it with its endless supply of gravity. It's only natural to want gear above you when you're trying a hard move so that if you fail, you won't fall far. Falling far can be scary, and it also undoes some of your climbing progress because you have to climb up through that section that you just flew past. That's why, while sport climbing, most of us clip a bolt as soon as it's within reach, even if it's just barely within reach. We stretch as far as we can to clip the bolt so that, for a brief moment, we're on top rope. You can't really do that on traditional gear climbs because it's hard to place gear way above your head at the limit of your reach. High clipping. This is the safest course of action, right? Not necessarily. Sometimes a high clip can put you at risk of a longer fall. Securing a high clip at the limit of your reach can make you feel more safe and confident, and as long as you actually make the clip, it's fine. Everybody high clips to some extent. If you can make that high clip without falling before getting it, you're fine. But if you fall while trying to clip and you don't get that rope secured, you're in for a longer fall than if you had just fallen without trying to clip. The key is all in the slack you have to pull above you to make that high clip. Today, I have Jamie Jamminkrak as my crash test as my special guest. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Cliff.
I'm glad you could take a little time off today from climbing splitter cracks to point out some of the perils of one of sport climbing's most prevalent practices.
Anything to throw shade on sport climbing, Cliff.
Yeah, well, that's not really the point of this exercise.
Yes, it is.
No, it's...
Yes, it is.
Let's move on. The point here is to help sport climbers make informed choices and be safer when clipping bolts.
Make sport climbing safer? Dude, they're already clipping bolts. What more do they want? Man, if you're not taking 30-foot whippers on 000 TCUs, you aren't living.
Actually, if you take a 30-foot whipper on a 000 TCU, you might not be living. Anyway, Jamie is going to demonstrate what happens when you blow that high clip and the resultant fall that comes from it. For measurement purposes, we'll use my length of pull, borrowing a shotgun term here, to measure the slack I pull out with a fully extended arm. I'm about the average height for a human male.
2 billion men in Asia factor into that world average.
True. I'm shorter than the average Western male, but I'm a good compromise when we factor in the length of pull for both men and women.
But I'm taller than you.
Let's not go that far.
I am.
If you say so.
I am.
You're a frickin' cartoon. You're measured in pixels.
What was that?
Nothing. Nothing. We're all good. Let's get on with the measurements, shall we? My length of pull is about 42 inches, 3.5 feet. That makes our math easy, as you'll see.
My length of pull is longer.
Not for the purposes of this demo.
I have a +3 ape index.
Good for you. I'm -2.
Ha ha.
Whatever. Okay, Jamie, get on the wall. Now, Jamie gets to a point where she wants to clip the bolt at her reach. She pulls out slack to her reach, which is 3.5 feet above her head.
My reach is longer.
For this demo, it's 3.5 feet.
No, it's longer because I'm taller than you.
There. Now you're my height.
I hate you.
I'm sure you do.
You have a god complex.
No, I'm hosting a video. Please continue with the demo. Jamie climbs above her last clipped bolt. She can reach the next bolt above her head. Say she falls from that point without trying to clip the bolt above. Notice the length of fall. If her waist was 10 feet above her last bolt and she falls, there is 10 feet of rope between her and her protection. If she falls, she will fall twice the distance she is above the bolt, plus 15 to 20% rope stretch. From 10 feet above her bolt, Jamie falls 20 feet plus another 3 to 5 feet of rope stretch, culminating in a 23 to 25 foot fall. Now on this attempt, Jamie tries to clip that high bolt. She pulls up rope to the bolt. This is 42 inches, 3.5 feet, of rope from her harness to her hand, highlighted in red, plus another 3.5 feet from her hand back down to her waist level, highlighted in green, for a total of 84 inches, or 7 feet of slack. Add this to the 10 feet of distance between the last clip bolt and her harness. She blows the clip and falls. Now she falls 2 times 10 feet plus the 7 feet for a 27-foot fall. Add in rope stretch and she falls 30 to 33 feet, or longer for a stretchier rope. That's 7 to 10 feet longer. This could be problematic if she's only 30 feet above the ground. Consider these dynamics for long reaches when clipping a bolt out to the side. The bolt may not be high above you, but far enough away that a reachy clip still pulls out enough slack to risk a long fall, potentially a ground fall. Here, my friend Mariam reaches up and to the side to make a clip, but she's low enough to the ground that missing the clip results in a ground fall. Not a hard one, mind you. One final factor that we didn't plug into our simple math. Your belayer is giving you slack so you can clip the bolt. The belayer should generally give you more slack than you precisely need so that you're not having to tug the rope to get it into the quick draw. That means there will be more slack in the system down by your belayer during the clip, and that will add more distance to your fall. That concludes our cautionary tale on high clips. I'd like to thank Jamie for lending herself to the whippers.
My pleasure. Can you make me back to my normal size now?
We'll talk later. That took a little longer than anticipated. I had a somewhat uncooperative guest, and I apologize. The purpose of this episode is not to frighten you completely out of ever doing a high clip. It's merely to make you aware of the potential pitfalls. The more slack you pull out to clip a bolt, if it's directly above you or off to the side, the more rope you add to your fall. This presents more of a hazard earlier in the climb when you're lower to the ground. So just bear this in mind when you're reaching up for that high clip.